But we already planned and initiated our own cuts before the conditions. So those come on top of those. Some of the cuts that were implemented today, actually, were the cuts to the phones. All the postpaid phones went over to prepaid. And I just got word from the DMO, Mr. Erno Labega, that it was successful. So all phones now have been transferred to prepaid, and they are back online. So there was a moment in time, there's a little glitch, and they're all back online. I expect to save a substantial amount of money on this. Right now, we're working out the figures. I've requested to have the last 3 months of phone bills, so we can have an average expense on the phone bills. In addition to that, we have also stopped, at least I've requested that by Telem, I don't know if it's implemented as yet, to stop all overseas calls at the public schools and any other landlines that we have outside the building. Right now we have Teams, we have Skype, we have WhatsApp video call and so forth. So the need to call overseas via the regular line, I believe, has decreased. And we also have looked at our gas policy, right, which has already been approved by COM also. We've had a presentation. We are going over now from a gas bond system to a prepaid system. So every person that has access to a vehicle or drives a vehicle will now have basically a top-up card for your gas. And it will be predetermined the amount of money on the card, and the money doesn't roll over. So for example, if your card has a top-up of 200 guilders and you only use 100 guilders, it doesn't roll over to the next month. It starts over again. So that way we also save money. But more importantly, with both of these systems is that we are able to track. So now we're able to say, okay, why is vehicle X and vehicle Z that supposed to do the same work, why is vehicle X spending 3 times the amount of gas or miles than vehicle Y? And even with the phones now, we monitor even more. Even though it's prepaid, we are still able to monitor. And no question, I believe we will see it'll be even more beneficial for us going forward in 2021. Because right now we already have it as prepaid, so we can calculate in advance already what the exact budget is for next year.
Right.
Whereas right now, how the system is that we have postpaid numbers with a fixed amount per month, but there are a lot of persons that are going over this amount, and the accountability and control for the last 5 years or more hasn't been there, and we see the effects of it now. For the last about 5 years, we've gone over the budget between 50 and 90 million guilders.
Wow. On telephone calls?
On telephone.
And gas?
Yes.
Wow.
And if you think about it, that money could have been put in sports, education, and so forth.
All the reforms?
All the reforms. But I mean, let's say over the years, so before COVID-19. Mm-hmm. I also believe that the conditions we're putting in place now will allow us to come out a lot stronger outside of this pandemic.
Right.
The pandemic will not last forever. We've had many crises in the past. We had a 2008 financial crisis around the world. St Maarten was affected, but maybe not as bad as bigger countries with the banking crisis. Mm-hmm. We've had pandemics in the past also. We had the H1N1. At the end of the day, as cliche as it may sound, life does goes on.
Yeah.
And I believe that we will come out of this pandemic. But having these systems in place now would mean that if our revenues increase to the normal revenues pre-Hurricane Irma, would mean that we would have more money in our coffers to spend on important stuff.